South Africa is generally regarded as a country of great affluence. The abundance of upmarket exclusive homes in many of our suburbs and the high number of expensive cars on our roads would substantiate this view. To many, it would come as a surprise that within this society of indisputable wealth, there are still people who not only find it difficult to make ends meet, but who often go to sleep without having anything to eat. Most of them have come to this as a result of circumstances completely beyond their control. Others have made wrong decisions in the past and are now unable to cope with rising food prices. Regina is a mother of 5 children and a grandmother of 10. Her husband left her 10 years ago without any financial support. Her only income is her government pension. She was lucky to qualify for government housing, but they still have very little money for food. The local Meals on Wheels branch has been delivering meals regularly, keeping in mind that Regina is diabetic. Not far from where they stay is a primary school, and one day when food had just been delivered, 2 children from the school asked if Regina could give them something to eat. Without hesitation, Regina shared her food with them and then approached Meals on Wheels, who have been feeding these children ever since. Pastor Dlamini, shown here on the right, together with his vice chairman Edward Banda, decided that their church organization should really get involved in a project with street children. At first, they were excited about the results, but soon realized that there was not enough to sustain the program. This was done, and today, Meals on Wheels regularly supports 150 children with nutritious meals. Celie Delport is a 62-year-old white female. Celie and her husband got into financial trouble that left them with little money for food at the end of every month. She requested that Meals on Wheels support them with meals, which was done. Celie felt bad receiving the food for free, so she volunteered to help prepare the food in the Heidelberg Meals on Wheels kitchen. After a while, the leader at the time moved away, and Celie then took over the leadership of the Heidelberg Meals on Wheels program. Today, she supports 240 adults and 800 school children in this area per month. Fortunately, there are people who have taken the plight of these unfortunate human beings to heart. A group of volunteers who are prepared to give up their valuable free time to make sure that these disadvantaged people do not go hungry. Meals on Wheels has been in operation in South Africa since 1964. Almost 6 million meals a year are being delivered to people throughout our country. Let's have a look at a typical day in the life of one of the branches of the Meals on Wheels organization. Even before the sun shows its face above the horizon, the volunteers manning the Meals on Wheels kitchen are already in full swing. A lorry arrives from the market where it has picked up all the ingredients for the meals to be delivered that same day. Immediately, the kitchen staff jump into action. The food is prepared by well-trained volunteers. The accent is on wholesome, nutritious recipes, especially selected with the health of the recipients in mind. Meals on Wheels very much appreciates the generous donations by the market, as well as the food and money from various corporate organizations and individuals. The meals are packed in clean polystyrene containers and packed carefully into the vans waiting to go out to the various beneficiaries. Barbara has been delivering food since January 2003. Clinton and Basil usually go together. Some of the beneficiaries insist on paying for their meals, and a small charge is made. Actually, our volunteers do much more than handing out food. Often, they are asked to provide companionship and counseling.
It isn't always about the food. Once when we were handing out meals at a school, I noticed a little boy who wasn't paying much attention to the food. And when I asked him if he wasn't hungry, he was immediately drawn to me, and I picked him up and I held him close, and I felt his little cheek next to mine. And I squeezed him tight, and it was then that I realized that here was a child badly in need of some love.
There was an 85-year-old man who lived all by himself. The first time I handed him a meal, he got tears in his eyes, and he said, "How is this possible that a person who doesn't even know me can be so kind and makes it possible for me to have a meal?"
The answer to that question, of course, is love. That mysterious quality of the human heart that feels another person's pain and suffering and awakens the desire to help wherever possible. At the present time, there are 84 Meals on Wheels branches as well as 211 food preparing places throughout South Africa, with a number of new branches and various schemes in the planning stage. Obviously, projects like these require money, a lot of money, and donations are urgently required. An amount as little as 25 Rand can provide a warm, nutritious and healthy meal for a needy person. Donors can also make use of our monthly meal sponsoring option, so they'll know that they are sponsoring meals for a real person and not merely making a donation to a faceless charity. Donations can take the form of one-time payments or monthly debit orders. Easy Pay cards like those used at Pick n Pay stores can also be used for making donations. Real love lies not in what is done and known, but in what is done but not known.
At Meals on Wheels, we've seen the need for many hungry mouths to feed. We cook the meals and move with speed to bring the food to those in need.